All right, so does Golovkin deserve a 50-50 split for this fight? I tend to think that he does. I believe he deserves a 50-50 split. For starters, I thought he won the first fight. Right? I felt that he pulled off the first fight and that there was some obvious corruption in the scorecards. That is my opinion. So, when it comes to Golovkin asking for a 50-50 split, just off that alone, I thought it's well deserved. Now, there's the whole saga of Canelo testing positive for clenbuterol. Whether it was accidental or purposely done, which is, in my opinion, I think is the case, that makes Canelo the perpetrator, the man who caused the rematch for Cinco de Mayo not to happen. So, in my opinion, he should be penalized for that. And one way to penalize him for it is the purse split. So whatever was on the table for the second fight, or the first fight, whatever, should be bumped up a little higher. But you see, is Canelo really about principle? Is he about legacy? I think he's about legacy, but I think it's fabricated. That's where the principle comes in. He's not willing to earn it in the ring. I believe he was juicing for the first fight, in my opinion. Where do I get that opinion from? The obvious transformation, in my opinion, of his body size from his days of fighting at 154 and then moving up in weight to fight at 160 or 155. His catch weight. And then obviously the confirmation was him failing a test for the second fight that got postponed. You see, Canelo is a fighter. He's an emotion, and fighting is an emotional sport, and he's an emotional person. He is a diva. He believes he did nothing wrong, and that nothing should change in status, right? Outside status. In the ring, he's Canelo, and you're whoever you are. Where Golovkin, who I believe should move on, it's in it to make big time money for this fight. Both fighters are, but Golovkin sees this as an opportunity to make some huge money before he retires, whenever that time comes. He can have a big payday in his bank account, maybe even a bigger payday than his first fight, obviously, right? So Golovkin is understanding the negotiation parts and where they're at today. Canelo is the perpetrator who caused the first fight not to happen. Therefore, he's going to ask for more money. Because at the end, who is the one that needs who? Does Golovkin need Canelo? If he wants that big payday, absolutely. If Canelo wants to redeem himself and have a huge legacy name under his belt, right? To continue to make bigger paydays, Golovkin is that guy. You beat Golovkin, you have that in your resume. Then comes all these negotiations. This is where it gets tricky for the second fight. You see, because Canelo understands what he went up against the first time, right? Even if he feels that there's a few little adjustments that he could have done to win a fight with Golovkin the second time around, he understands that he hit this man with everything he had, and if Canelo was cheating, and what I mean by cheating was he was given, or they tried to give him a physical advantage in the ring over Golovkin, which I think is more likely the scenario. You have to understand that sits on a mind, that sits in a man's mind, knowing he couldn't pull off the deal. So Canelo's put in a situation where the next move he wants to do, he wants to make sure that it works totally in his favor. So he's in a bad situation in his mind. He cannot give Canelo, or rather Golovkin, a 50-50 split and take the chance in the second fight and not able to pull the deal off again, and loses this fight. You see, this is not a situation where, you give it your best, I give it my best, whoever wins, we shake hands, I tip my hat off to you. That's not what's happening here. Canelo's in it to win it. Inside the ring and outside, more importantly, outside the ring. It's all about getting the verdict, not the actual fight itself, not the content in the ring. So that's where Canelo is faced with. I think it's self-inflicted, feeling that if they were to lose another fight, that this would somehow destroy his career, his legacy. Now, yeah, of course, there's the physical part. Anything can happen in the ring, and winning or losing, right? You can physically lose something. But that's not what he's truly worried about. He is worried about losing his status in the boxing world. And he believes a loss to Canelo, or Golovkin. Canelo believes a loss to Golovkin will set him back. Right? Maybe he doesn't want a 3-fight deal where finally the last fight is where he can actually pull off a victory over Golovkin. Right? Maybe he wants it done in 2. They certainly tried to go for it in the first time, but didn't work out that way. So maybe the plan is to postpone this fight. Get Golovkin a little older and thinking about retiring, trying to make the most money he can possibly make, as long as Canelo has all the A-side advantages in the ring. Anyway, that is my video. Peace.